Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're doing another making video. We've got the Roto Grip RST X2. Somehow I think I'll remember how to say this thing. So here are the specs. I'm testing a 14-pound ball. The RG is 255, differentials 053. And the mass bias is 016. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We've got the RST core from RST X2, very popular ball, and now what's becoming extremely common and popular is the E-Trax Pearl cover stock. So let's open it up, and like we do, we'll talk about it and drill it. Right. So here we go. It's yeah, like a I don't know, purplish, bluish, whatever. So here's the neat logo. You know, good looking ball. So basically we have another strong shiny ASIM. You know, generally we tend to like these balls. I tend to find that the shiny ASIMs are some of the more versatile balls that we tend to see, right? Especially on house shots, and obviously I'll spend more time talking about house shots because that's what most people bowl on. You know, you basically get a clean look with a motor that, you know, generates enough torque. And that seems to be like a pretty ubiquitous, good formula for a lot of bowlers. Obviously, some of the higher rev bowlers like symmetrics, honestly, whatever. I mean, that you know, we can kind of go back and forth, but Pearl ASIM. So when I look at, let's talk a little bit about what's currently there. You know, what's currently in the Roto Grip lineup. I'm not even going to talk about the Storm lineup. The Roto Grip lineup, right? We have the RST X2, obviously as a complement to the hybrid with some surface. It is a 1500 grit polish. This is a typical shiny ASIM finish that's Storm Roto Grip release. So you have, now this is a shiny ASIM, you have the UFO Alert, which is also a shiny ASIM. Yeah, I know it's a hybrid, but if you've been following my videos for a long time, I always say, you know, surface is, you know, 70% of the ball reaction, and if you're going to basically have the same surface finish, 70% of the ball reaction is going to be almost identical. So, you know, when we talk about a ball like this, and my arsenal categories, we're talking about mid-defined, so I expect it to be kind of the mid category because it's you know, it's a cleaner cover, but a more angular shape, if you will. Well, that's, you know, the UFO Alert as well would fit in that. And you have the Rubicon UC2. Now the core specs of the UFO Alert and the RST X2 are quite similar. I think they both have a 016 mass bias. They both are somewhere in the 5.3, 5.4 differential. I mean, there's a mild RG difference. It's not even worth calling out. The UC2 has I believe, an 0.9 mass bias. So it is a more mildly asymmetric core. And in fact, when we tested it, we almost liken it to kind of a big symmetric, right? It's very continuous. It's got plenty of motion. It's sort of that definitely almost quintessential clean angular type of shape. And so, you know, on the one hand, I can see this potentially complementing the UC2, I'm not exactly sure how you'd fit it next to the UFO alert. Remember, we'll see when we test it. The UFO alert is definitely earlier rolling than the UC2 or even the dark code when we tested that. But I guess we're gonna find out when we test it, and we'll give you an idea. I mean, if I had to guess, and having seen the RST X1, I would guess that you'd basically have of the three balls, the UFO alert would be the sort of strongest asymmetric look, with the UC2 being the most symmetric-like continuous back end shape, and then the RST X2 being somewhere in the middle. And then the question is going to become, is this kind of a sweet spot where it's like a Goldilocks, or does it sort of have to replace one or the other? Can it be side by side? So I guess when we test it, we'll have a better sense. But at least you kind of get an idea. Now, in terms of layouts, I think what I'm going to do here is like I want to say like a 50 by 4.5 by 45. Basically, that's going to do something like this, right? Obviously, I'll work on the layout, and we'll kind of come to something. But I think it's going to be right around there. I kind of like to do that on the ASIMs. Talked a little bit about that in a previous video, but anyway, so let's get started with the drilling, and then we'll come back and then see where we're at. We've got fingers. I'm gonna make the thumb hole. I know sometimes people are not a huge fan of drilling into the pin. Honestly, I mean, I guess if you warranty wise, you probably want to avoid that. But I'm just looking for a layout that I'm looking for, so that's what it worked out to be. So this is our layout. It's like I said, it is 4.5 by 50 by 45. That's what it looks like. So yeah, I mean, just to close out, I think it's going to be interesting to see. I don't anticipate any issue with this ball having that typical, clean, shiny ASIM look. That's gonna look good. I mean, we know this core. We've seen it in the RST X1. It's obviously very popular. It works, especially. I feel like the RST X1 wasn't the strongest big ball out there. I mean, it was a hybrid, but with surface. However, it did kind of serve that purpose for some, higher power players, essentially, right? You just didn't need the huge pieces. It's not, say the shape of a proton physics or a reality, but it was kind of just under, which made it a little more usable, I think, for people. So seems like a no-brainer to have this one. I guess it's a little confusing with the UFO alert recently being released. So I don't know exactly where that one's going to go, but I guess when we review it, we'll have a better sense. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the review video.